Good morning. Here we are, and joining the room.
Some win-win scenarios, things that are mutually beneficial, helping others. What a thought, helping others. It doesn't all have to be about you.
It's crazy,
morning,
right?
brother.
Crazy thought, crazy idea. What do you mean it doesn't have to all be about me? You mean you can actually make things about other people and help other people without focusing only on yourself? That's crazy. Who would think such a thing?
Why would somebody do that? Hey, Carrie, what's going on?
While we're getting going here, I'm going to go ahead and ping some folks in.
Okay,
you do moving.
So the question here is basically today. Me and my friend Harry Spade are we're doing a little event at noon. I'll share the link later on. But Harry wrote a book called Selling with Dignity, and everything he does is about adding value, kindness, dignity, not the tricks, the gimmicks, the sleaze, all that stuff. And he's brought in hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to his companies and things that he's worked for using those methods, not trying to take advantage of people and things like that. And so me and you started talking about, well, why can't me and Tom do a show where we both win, where Dom doesn't babble for an hour and Tom doesn't babble for an hour. We don't get mad at each other. When Tom talks I hope Tom talks for 40 minutes, because then I'll stare at him. He's handsome. And then I'll email off to the side or ping people or send messages or something like that. Why are people so afraid of those kind of relationships, of working with other people, of synergies, symbiotic, all the mutually beneficial things? Why does it scare people?
Honestly, I think it scares people because, and I'm just looking away because I'm still pinging folks in, but I'm going to multitask here. I can click with my mouse and talk with my mouth. But I think people are scared of it because there is this zero-sum kind of mentality or perception that's very prevalent in the way information is presented to us through a lot of sources, right? And I don't want to use I think it's a lazy catch-all to say the media, right? It's a lazy catch-all to say that. But at the end of the day, the way a lot of information is presented to us is very much as a zero-sum game, i.e., there is a finite amount of whatever the resource is, whether that's opportunity for my business or sales or revenue or whatever the case may be, market share, et cetera, right? There's a finite amount, right? It treats everything as a finite amount, and that finite amount is assigned, right? This guy has this much, this guy has this much, these people have that much, whatever the case may be, right? And so the only way to get more for yourself is to take from someone else, right? That's this whole idea of this zero-sum game that like a lot of things are presented to us in as a zero-sum, right? And I think that is completely incorrect, right? Life is not a zero-sum game. Generally, broadly speaking, are there some things that are finite? Yes, absolutely, right? But economics is not a finite commodity, right? Market share is not a finite commodity, right? There is not only X amount that can be spent on a certain service or product, right? And you ask anybody in sales and they'll tell you this all day long. Just because every quarter, every month, they're looking to sell more than they did last. And you can't do that if there's only a finite amount of appetite for whatever you're selling, right? You have to find new markets. You have to bring new people into the market, et cetera, et cetera. So the point of all that is that if we look at the world not as a zero-sum game, right? But as a place of abundance, right? A place of plenty, a place where we can, like I was saying last week, if we run out of pie, we just make another pie, right? we create, we bake another pie. If we approach it from that perspective, then really what we should be doing, instead of trying to take from other people so that we have enough, we should be trying to be that rising tide, right? To create win-win scenarios, like we were talking about right before we got on, to create opportunities where we give to others and they give to us in return. And thereby we all rise together. We all lift each other up. We all provide for each other in a community, right? And that's why I use the word community all the time. Is when you think of the word community, you think of other people, right? You don't think of dollars and cents. You don't think of fighting for scraps, right? You think of people. And at the end of the day, whether you're in sales or in service or in hard products or in radio or in entertainment, whatever the case may be, all of us deal with people, and we should treat the people we deal with in our businesses the same way we would treat our neighbors or a member of our community, right? And that's like a human being. But I think we should all be looking for opportunities to create win-win scenarios. Period. Full stop. I will die on that hill. Come at me.
Yeah, come at him. Come at you, bro. I just think of it, as you're saying, I think of this phrase, alone we can do so little. And like with everything I try to do, you think about, well, if I worked with Tom, if I worked with John, if I worked with Johnny, if I worked with Joyce, well, what could we do today? My mind's this big. It only fits in this. It only fits in the twin screen here, you know. So, but if we could connect, if I could use my resources that maybe somebody else doesn't have, and I use their things that they're good at, and together we work together, then who knows where we could go. So we're talking about collaboration. We're talking about win-win. I'm doing an event with my buddy Harry Spate later. He's the author of Selling with Dignity, and that's what got us going down this idea of just, well, maybe there's a way that everybody wins. And what's wrong with that? So, Joyce, how you been? How was graduation? What do you got going on? What's your thoughts?
Good morning. Yep, just got back from Arizona this weekend, still adjusting. Tom, you are speaking my language. I love that message. You know, I talk a lot about abundance. We come from a mentality of scarcity is really dangerous, but the idea of living in abundance and the both and mentality, you know, two things can be true. We can kind of give and get. So I don't know. I think that's the message we should be sharing. I think that's the story we should be telling, because again, we're all ruled by stories. So the more people who say this and live it, the better off we'll be. I'm always trying to collaborate. I've been thinking about community literally since I got my master's degree in urban policy. And the first question of the first day was, think about community. And you can be very expansive with your community, or you can really think of your community as being a very exclusive place. So this is all a mindset, I think, and you guys have the right mindset always. So I miss talking to you, and I am back and doing my thing here in Massachusetts. So thanks.
Joyce, I love it. And it's interesting that you can be both places at the same time. I read a book, this Og Mandino, The World's Greatest Salesman, one of my favorite books. And he says at one point, the son was driven to succeed. And the father leader comes to him and says, well, what is this? What's this burning desire? And the son says, is it wrong to want to feed my family? Is it wrong want them to have nice things? Is it wrong? And it's not wrong, but it's also not wrong to give, to be kind, to help other people. Why can't you connect to people? Why can't I say, maybe John and this guy would be a good fit? I can't use this service right now because I don't have a Tesla or because I don't need a new roof, but maybe this guy does. Why can't I connect these two people who were talking about these things? So, all right, let's continue this conversation.
I was just going to say, Dom, I think the sort of key thing in what you just said is that it's not wrong to want those things, right? Or to pursue those things. The sort of key difference lies in understanding that you don't it doesn't have to be at the expense of someone else, right? It only becomes a negative when you say, I want these things for my family, for myself, for the people I care about, right? If you're saying that you want those things and the only way to get them is to take them from someone else, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting those things. Just realize you don't have to take from someone else to get those things, right? Like that's the key difference. I think that's what we're really talking about is we can, like, a lot of people can have all of those things. We all should be able to have those things, right? Like the sort of comfort and dignity and the things that come with what you're talking about. But you don't have to do that at someone else's expense, right? It's not zero sum. Sorry, just wanted to throw that in there.
Appreciate it, man. Not the smartest guys in the room. We're talking collaboration. We're talking win-win scenarios. John, how do you go about the day? Do you care about win-win scenarios? Is everything a win-win? I mean, how does that fit into what you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, everything is a win-win. So with my show, it's about the guest and their story. And most of them have a product they want to promote and a service they do. So that's a trade-off. They get that at the end. And then I do some promotions. So there's a lot of collaboration. The problem I have with the term is thrown around a lot of collaboration in Clubhouse in particular is the people that throw the term collaborate around, that they want to do everything for them, they do nothing in return. That I have a big problem with. And I'm not picking sides, but if the CEO of General Motors wants to do business with me, I'm more than happy to, but it's not for free. And I don't think that as a expense or taking from them. It's getting access to my audience that I've worked very hard on. So, my landlord doesn't take collaboration and payment. The travel companies don't take collaboration and payment. I've got to pay them. So there's certain things I have to do. And what I do is I just draw a general rule of thumb that I have is if you are a business and you want me to market or advertise or promote you, then what is the budget going to be? That's the approach I take. If it is an individual that has something else, has a story that fits my show format, then we will gladly provide a platform for them and get exposure to millions of people for free. But it's got to fit the format, and I'll promote it, and then we'll heavily promote it at the end of the show. So I believe in collaborating as long as it truly is going both ways. If it's a one-way proposition, there's streets that are one way and they all end in dead ends. Every freaking one of them until you turn it into a two-way street.
John, how do you tell the people no? How often? I guarantee, like I love my community. I treat my community like family. And I find it so offensive when somebody wants to come on or try to sell them something or sell them patches or widgets or whatever. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. How do you tell those people that want to prey on Don's millions of viewers?
Well, here's what I do. I don't put that in text because email and text messages, I found out that no matter how well scripted they are, people are going to read stuff in that's not intended. I read stuff in the emails all the time. So what I tell people is, let's talk on the phone. Let's have a conversation. And then I start the what are their needs? What do they want to do? And then I let them know in a very nice way. I'm not mean about it, but listen, if you want to talk advertising promotion, yeah, we're a business and we can do a lot of things to help you grow, but none of that, it all depends on your budget. That's the way I put it. What is your budget? And if they say, can you do it for free? And I say to them, look, I'm sorry, you don't work for free. You charge for your business, and I can't work for free. I just don't do it.
Love it, brother. And that's something we definitely got to add to this conversation, working for free. How many people expect Tom to work for free, or Joyce or Johnny? How many people expect you to work? And do they really expect you to work for free? Johnny, what say you on that? What do you got for us, my friend?
Oh my God, I'm about to get on a soapbox. So good morning, everybody. This is John Pike of the Prophet of Pop Culture. You can call me Johnny. So everything that has been said, I'm screaming, yes, 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 yes. I love Tom's analogy. If you think that your piece of the pie isn't big enough, go bake another pie. I'm right up there with John. Collaboration is great, but it's got to be a two-way street. And I only do things if it meets all three criteria. So here are my criteria to take on a gig or a project or whatever it is. One, it has to be fun. I've got to have fun doing it. Two, it's got to grow me creatively or professionally. And three, it has to generate revenue. It has to generate income. And it may not be immediate income. It may be, revenue in the form of, growing an audience for potential revenue. But there's got to be a revenue component in everything I do. And I'm blown away. Look, I am a professional world champion magician. I get paid a lot of money to entertain for corporate events and at theaters and dinner theaters. And I'm always blown away when, a charity who is trying to raise a couple $1 million calls me and says, hey, we'd like you to come perform for our charity event, but, everyone's volunteer. Well, no, they're not. Your caterers aren't volunteering the food. The venue is not volunteering their venue. You're paying for everything. So you got to pay for me too. I would love to donate my services. I support that charity. Amen. Hallelujah. But that charity isn't paying my electric bill. And I still got bills to pay. It blows me away every day that I get these calls. And, I'm the Comic-Con magician. I perform at conventions and whatnot. And we take our podcast back at the Cereal Box to pop culture conventions. And again, I'm blown away by people who think that we're just going to show up and do what we do for free because everybody else does. We're a volunteer-run convention. Okay, I got bills to pay. If you want me there, you got to pay for me. And that's not taking anything away from anyone else, like Tom said. And I love collaboration. I love win-wins. I just entered into a win-win collaboration with Actors Point Theater. We're taking Back at the Cereal Box live on stage, in front of on a theater stage, an old restored movie palace, 500-seat theater, once a month, a la Prairie Home Companion, and I'm super excited. Well, I brought on board a director from Actors Point Theater who's also going to bring, they do summer theater camps with students, so he's going to bring the students in to learn, to give them an opportunity to do lighting and sound and create characters and write scripts and whatnot. It's a win-win. The kids get an education, they get opportunity, and there's going to be money into that program from our ticket sales, and it's going to be phenomenal. But there's got to be, if he said, hey, I want to come, I want you to come teach our kids in our summer camp how to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, but there's no compensation for you and there's no return for you. I'm going to be hard pressed. I'm going to have to say no, because, doing something for free means that I have to turn down something that gets paid. And I might turn down a $250 gig. Well, by me turning down $250, that actually costs me. another $250. So it's a $500 loss. So anyway, I could go on and on about this topic. I've been thinking about it a lot this week. Can you tell? Johnny, I'm done.
We want more, man. Always appreciate you being here and your thoughts on things. So I got a question, and then Tom, I see has a question. So with the, like, I know you have a day career and then you have the magic and stuff. Are there ever times like where you're like, well, I got to ditch the day career because I made so much money here, or because you had your, it's fun, your 3 pillars. It was fun. You can monetize, and I forget what the second one was, but I'm wondering, is there a time where is the day career always fun, or how do you balance that, or is there a clear answer?
Well, the day job makes my wife happy. That's the answer.
I gotcha. Fair.
I was just going to add too. I think, Johnny, when you're talking about people, and John too, when you're talking about people that are asking you to sort of quote unquote donate your time, right? Those people are not looking to collaborate, right? They're not looking to create a win-win situation. They are looking to take, right? They want to take. And often they will prey on, your goodwill. They will try to flatter you, et cetera, but no mistake, even for a good cause, right? They are looking to take, period, end of story. Those, like the people that ask you to work for free, are looking to take from you, right? So that they have, right? They're not looking to create a win-win situation. There's always, even for nonprofits, right? Even if they genuinely don't have the budget to afford you, there are ways, right, to make it a mutually beneficial situation. But if they just say, hey, it'll be great for you, why don't you come donate your time? Yeah, those people are looking to take from you, and you should tell them, no, absolutely not, period, end of story. But yeah.
And I don't want someone to hear something I'm not saying. I do donate my time. I do donate my talents to causes that I legitimately believe in. I'm partnered with a charity called Comic Books for Kids, and their is they deliver comic books to kids in the hospital and cancer centers. They're in all 50 states right now, 170 hospitals, and it's a cause I am very passionate about, that I believe in. I remember when I was in the hospital as a kid, just getting, I was having surgery at like 5 years old, and I was there for a week, and my mom brought me this big, huge stack of comic books, and it started a love affair, and it meant the world to me. And so I'm super passionate about this charity's mission and their causes. And I approached them. I said, hey, I've got a podcast. I've got an audience. I would like to partner with you to give you access to my audience. I'd like to run your commercials. I would like to, partner with you on fundraising campaigns when we do events and, donate proceeds and whatnot. Are you cool with that? Well, yeah, they are. But I went to them because I'm super passionate about their cause. They didn't come to me and say, hey, would you give us this, this, and this for free? And I think that's a big difference. I think we need to absolutely give of our time, talent, and finances to things that we believe in and that we're passionate about. And quite honestly, that gives me an out for the people who just want to take. When I get those calls, I can say, well, I already donate, X amount to this charity partner, and that's our focus. But thank you for your phone call.
Johnny, man, spectacular as always. You definitely are getting us into this subject, man. We're talking about collaborating. We're talking about creating win-win scenarios, win-win forever. For Tom said it, Tom and JFK said it, rising tide lift all boats, so That's what we're talking about. You don't have to be afraid to help somebody else or connect to people that, no, I wasn't in this deal. It has nothing to do with me. But why wouldn't I introduce these two people? I think some people, like I come from a world I spent 20 years in pharmaceuticals and insurance sales and yellow page sales. And I think some people are so focused like on me, this has to return for me. Well, what about them? What about connecting these people? Maybe 5 years from now, they come to you and say, hey, why does it always have to be right now? So
well, here's an example of that, Dom. So
Yeah.
this live show, Back of the Cereal Box on Stage, the theater that we're doing it at is just a few doors down from a comics and collectible shop. Well, guess what we cover on our podcast? We pull prizes out of the cereal box. We do, toy reviews and comic book reviews, and I would be remiss if I didn't go to that shop and say, hey, listen, we're going to be focusing on product that you sell in your store. Would you like to be an advertising partner to have access, not just to the live audience, because we're filming this for distribution on our social networks and video networks, but to have access to our audience of 24,000 per month, or per week, I guess it is, per week. If I didn't go to him and give him that option, what an insult that would be to them. So, there's the other side of that too.
Thank you, brother. We're talking win-win scenarios. I see our friend in the beautiful hat, Dr. Tachi. So we're going to go to Dr. Tachi, Dimple, then our man, Charlie Cifarelli. It's nice to see him back in the room. My friend, Julie Loken. Okay, Dr. Tachi. Anybody wants – and, okay, somebody told me about this, and I think most people have been in this room before, but typically – if you want to come up, raise your hand. Sometimes I invite you up. We invite people when we see them. Come on up. If you don't, just deny, whatever. This other thing is we typically go left to right on the stage unless somebody is like an expert in film and we're talking about film. Then that person flashes. Otherwise, we go left to right, keep the conversation rolling. And anybody on stage, if they ever want to flash and say, yeah, I know about this or I want to chime in, go for it. And that's less weight me and Tom have to carry, and we love to collaborate with all of you. So thank you. All right, Dr. Tachi, what do you got for us? How are you doing?
I'm good. This is an interesting conversation about the have and the have-nots, or the have and the have-wants. Let me just say I agree with everything Tom was saying was resonating. Everything Johnny was saying was resonating because this is the thing, and I did a video about this, that there will be some people that will try to hide under the guise of nonprofit to get you to do things for free, as you all have talked about. Well, let me say this, nonprofit doesn't mean no profit. And so, as we said, there are some organizations who really, truly cannot afford to, to pay whatever, but they should try and make it amenable for you as well. I've encountered that so much that I just look at people like, if you sat and put you in the equation, would you do it? And probably they would not. So I remember, and this was for a large, I'd done a speaking event for free at one place because I knew them and it was fine. And people raved so much about me coming that a large city government institution school board came to me and said, hey, we heard that you did such a great job at XYZ and we would love to have you come. And I was like, okay. And they talked to about it. And then he said, we can't pay, but you can give out all your, you give out business cards and do all. I'm like, I'm sorry, does exposure pay? And sometimes it does, but for this, it didn't. And the thing that got me is that you are like one of the largest school districts in the country. How dare you? And it's not for the children. It's for you, for the administrator. How dare you ask me to come and do it for free? And the thing is, their headquarters were like downtown. So I'm like, and none of you offered me parking. You didn't even offer to pay for parking. At the very least, that type of thing. So nonprofit doesn't mean no profit. School districts are nonprofit, but you know good and damn well that they get profit. So when you think about doing those types of things, again, it's if you feel that it's something that you're connected to, that you want to do, everything is not always for pay. I think that there is some service that we do as well. But I always tell people also, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta. I pay for the honor to serve. So I'm not doing too much else outside of that unless it aligns with what I'm saying. So that's my spiel for today.
It just made me think, Dr. Tachi, this happened literally just a couple of days ago. I had somebody ask me if I work with nonprofits. And I said, yes. And they said, how much time do you donate, blah, blah, blah. And I have several nonprofits that are clients. And I said, I don't, they pay me for my work. And they just kind of looked at me and I was like, yeah, nonprofits pay people for stuff. I don't know if you realize this, but like they have operating budgets. They actually have to spend money to exist. It's the way things work, right? Like nonprofits generally get a lot of discounts on things. And I will sometimes charge a nonprofit a different rate than I would charge, a larger for-profit company or a larger company that has a bigger budget, right? That we can do more services for. But generally speaking, my clients pay what my clients pay, nonprofit, for-profit. If you're hiring me to do work, right, and you're asking how much it's going to cost, generally speaking, the answer is the same regardless of what your company does, right? But yeah, they kind of looked at me funny when I said, yeah, they pay me. They were kind of almost surprised, and I was like, yeah, nonprofits pay people for stuff. Like they're still businesses, just because their organizational structure is different and the reason for the business existing is different than a for-profit business doesn't mean they're not a business. Like that word business is still in there, right? But yeah, it was a really interesting experience because they looked at me funny and I was like, did you not know that you can charge that nonprofits will pay you for stuff? Like I was very confused by the situation, but yeah, anyway, just wanted to share that.
Can I add really quickly?
Go on, Dr. Tachi.
I think too, it's interesting with the nonprofit rate, that type of thing, because obviously, especially if it's something you really align with and want to help, you do want to try and work with people. And sometimes that's just in general, you try to work with people. But then I've run into one in particular that we're like, okay, well, let's give them this rate for the live stream that we want to run. And I immediately saw that it was going to be a problem. We ended up not working with them. I told them that we're not going to have the time to do it because it's like there was almost the expectation that not only do you give us this rate, but we then deserve the same service. And of course, we're not going to give you less service, but there's sometimes the demands that the level of service exceed almost what people paying the regular rate are because they're a nonprofit. So I was like, sometimes you have to fire people, you're fired. So that brought that up in my mind. Sorry, Dom, go ahead.
No, you're good. I appreciate this. I'm the president of a nonprofit around locally, and I just wanted to touch on this spending verse. Recently, we're working on a new computer system. It's going to end up costing us about $6,000 down. This is just computer program, $6,000 down, about $3,000 a year. And then there was some services donated as part of the thing from a large company like Salesforce. They donate this many licenses and things like that. But another company that we were dealing with wanted to work after hours, wanted to charge us a lower rate, but after hours, but this. And they were a local company, and we wanted to go with the local company. We wanted to give the local company a chance, but it was, we're going to treat you as second class. We're going to do your work off hours. We need it done by this day. We're not asking for a discount. We're not asking for free. We're willing to pay. Like Tom said, we had the money. We had it set aside, ready to go. We just wanted you to do what we were asking you to do, not do it off hours and maybe get it done someday. So in that case, in this case, by somebody treating a nonprofit like they didn't have money, like they were begging, we never asked for that. Then we had to go to the national companies and to get what we want done. So that's the way it's going to go. So, okay, let's continue this conversation. Win-wins. Okay.
Win.
Yeah, I just like to say it.
Win.
I want to tell you about a guy. When I was in insurance, I used to work with this guy. He was the greatest. I consider him the greatest salesman that I've ever met, but not because, and the reason I consider him that is because everybody won with him. It was not always about him. So like sometimes you'll meet somebody who's a relationship seller. Well, they can sell their friends. And if they're friends with Bill Gates, well, they sell a bigger client because they're friends with Bill Gates. Well, that's a relationship seller. This gentleman was able to see ahead and connect multiple people down the road. So we sold insurance. And then all of a sudden, he had a client that separated coal. So then he connected them to a coal company. Then all of a sudden, his client and the coal company wanted to do business with him. Then he connected the coal company with an investor. I'd be like, hey, Paul, where you at today? And here we worked in Pittsburgh. And he'd be like, oh, I'm on Fifth Avenue talking to investors in New York City. I mean, because he could see so far ahead. And by connecting everybody else, they all kept him in. They wanted Paul at every table because Paul introduced him to him. He was integral to all these people. And it wasn't about, he didn't make money on this coal business, doing business with the other person. And it wasn't like he wasn't born knowing them or anything like that. It wasn't a family relationship that he sold. That's easy. That's low hanging fruit. Okay. See, Johnny, like you can go down the rabbit hole. I can go down the rabbit hole on that. Okay. Not the smartest guys in the room. Dimple, what say you on all this we're talking about?
Hey there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the topic is, but I mean, because I just kind of came in the room. So if you want to fill me in.
Tom, have at it, my friend.
Sure thing. So we're talking about kind of creating win-win scenarios, right? And the idea that if you are looking to create win-win scenarios or win-win relationships with other people, that will, in the long run, really lead to long-term sustained growth for your business or for your organization, right? That life is not, business is not, markets are not finite resources. We do not need to play zero-sum games. We do not need to take from other people in order to succeed, and all the things that go along with that. So we're talking about creating win-wins. We're talking about collaboration, and how collaboration really is a true two-way street. And I would say definitionally, if you say something is a collaboration and then don't reciprocate in the context of that relationship, it's not really a collaboration, right? So Johnny and John were both talking about that earlier. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about creating win-wins.
Yeah, great topic. Thanks. So yeah, when it comes to making and building relationships, I think that it has to come from a place of genuinely wanting to get to know more about the person, about what they do, and and help each other. Because a lot of times I see people trying to make relationships, and this even happens like, you go to some events and everyone's just pushing their business cards at you, or they're like, oh, like I'd love to meet you for coffee. I would love to this. And it's like, well, what's like the value of like, for the other person to meet you, right? Are you just going to try to sell them something, or are you genuinely interested in getting to know them right? Because there's a difference. And I see that happen all the time in like, real events where people have not mastered the art of networking effectively. Because if you can give someone something, right, without expecting anything in return, it's the law of reciprocation. And I think people are more likely to want to reciprocate back. But if you're just like, oh, let's meet, and then you meet, and then they want to give you like a half-hour pitch on whatever they're selling, like that's not building a relationship. A relationship is getting to know the person, and really understanding what they do and how you can help them, how you can collaborate together, and maybe asking them, what can I do for you? Is there anything I can do to help you? Right. And then it goes both ways. So I think it's really important to just evaluate, like, coming from a place where you really want to build a relationship, because relationships are, in my opinion, long term. And people who build those long lasting relationships, they get connected to more people over time as a result of those relationships, because the trust factor is there. So you have to build that know, like, and trust factor, but you can only do that being authentic. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely agreed. I think one of the things that popped into my mind just listening to what you had to say was, I think one of two things is happening in a lot of those kind of situations that you described, right? You talk about going to a networking situation where people are just walking around shoving business cards in each other's hands, or you're sitting down to a meeting and somebody is just instantly trying to pitch you on their product or service. One of two things is happening in those situations, right? And I'll go with the better case scenario first, because we'll give people the benefit of the doubt, because I like to believe that people are generally, and by default, I kind of give people the benefit of the doubt, think people are good, right? So the first option is they don't know any better, right? They've been taught that the way to build your business is to just always be pitching. They've been taught this sort of like quality over quantity approach, that if you make 1,000 phone calls, eventually somebody will say yes, right? Rather than taking the time to sow the seeds of building a relationship that will last maybe for years and years and years and deliver better results than those 1,000 phone calls could, in a lifetime, right? So either one, they've been taught incorrectly, they don't understand what they're doing and what they're doing wrong, right? Or two, and this is true in some cases, they are just lying to you, right? When they say that they want to form relationships, when they say that they want to learn more about your business, what they're doing is they're creating an opportunity for them to pitch you, right? They're creating an opportunity for them to try to convince you, like kind of strong arm you into buying their product, right? Or their service. And so they're being disingenuous, right? They're lying to you about their intention. And I don't see a way that there's really much else many other possibilities there. I think it's really one of those two things. And if it's somebody who's been who's the product of bad mentorship or bad education or a lack of understanding, then that's a problem you can fix, right? That's a problem that can be dealt with, and you could do it by example, right? You can do it by showing them, right, that being interested in them, actually genuinely being interested in them, genuinely forming those relationships, genuinely wanting to help, will actually create opportunity and create a desire in them to want to reciprocate those things, right? So if it's somebody who's just been misled or misinformed, that's something you can help with, and you can sort of bring them around to a better way of thinking about things. And if it's somebody who's being disingenuous, then you just walk away and you don't need those people in your life, period, end of story, right? If it's somebody who is willing to mislead you to try to take money out of your pocket, right, or out of your business or whatever the case may be, if they're willing to mislead you to do that, then you walk away from that person. You do not need them in your life. Goodbye, end of story, right? That's how I deal with those people. So what do you think, Dom? Cut them out?
Well, look, I just got Text saying Tom's on fire today, so, you must be doing it. It's interesting though, because when I used to sell, what was it, early 2000s, I used to sell yellow page ads, and every pitch that we know today, nearly 20 years later, is wrong. That's what they did. You know what I mean? Like, we would call people. The script was on their voicemail if they didn't answer. Listen to how like wrong this is based on what Tom says. Hey, this is Dominick. I wanted to ask you about your business. That was here. Hey, here's my phone number. Come, I wanted to ask you about a service. That it's all bullshit right from the start. I mean, imagine that any relationship building the foundation on lies, I hate. Here it is. This is me. It's like, I hope when you guys see me in person that I look like this picture that I look like here. I want zero. Like, if you're looking on the live stream, I think I look like that. So I want zero lies. On anything. I want to build this foundation on trust. So, okay, somebody go on.
Yeah, and if any of you ever meet me in person, including you, Dom, because we haven't actually met in person, I probably won't be in front of this backdrop, but I would bet money that I will have a hat that looks very much like this one on my head. In fact, I had somebody said to me not that long ago, I didn't even know what the top of your head looked like. And I'd known it was somebody that had known me for a couple of years. They were like, I didn't even know what the top of your head looked like. For all I knew, you didn't even have a top on your head because I'd only ever seen you with the hat on. So, but yeah, it's my thing. But I will definitely have the hat on if you ever meet me in person. That's for sure.
Wouldn't it be funny if Tom had like a flat top or a ponytail under there or something?
What if I just had a giant mullet, just a ridiculous like Joe Dirt style mullet under this thing? That would be hilarious.
Since you bring Joe Dirt up, then we're going to Charlie Cifarelli. I like Joe Dirt. I think Joe Dirt's funny. My wife hates Joe Dirt. I could watch Joe Dirt over and over and over again. Joe Dirt is like me when I was in high school. I'm telling you. So, okay, let's go to my friend Charlie Cifarelli. How you doing, brother? You've been all over the place, and me and Charlie Cifarelli were in New York same time, except he was eating like high end, and I was eating pizza. He didn't call me, man. Charlie Cifarelli, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, Dom. Hey, everybody. Doing okay, and just trying to get back into the swing of things. I got to do my first podcast in a while tomorrow night. But other than that, I'm just, for those that don't know, I'm just learning how to walk again. I had a blood clot go to my brain when I was sleeping at 2:00 in the morning, and that kind of leveled me for a while. So I'm just grateful for the little things right now. And I'm grateful I haven't had to go out with a can and ask anybody for help. And it's just staggering the amount of money that costs when you get ill. Even if you have insurance, it's just staggering. So this has been a really good example. I haven't had to lean on my friends for anything. And hopefully I come out of this and I'm stronger and I can help more people. But going to hit the topic now. I sit on a board of directors for a nonprofit for first responders in New Jersey, and I am the vice president of a nonprofit for animal wellness. So everything you guys have talked about, I concur with. But I really had a bigger position in helping nonprofits. I had a trash business and recycling business, and it really gave me an opportunity to help people. And I'm going to be real upfront. I want to help the causes that I want to help. And they are generally causes of people in direct need right now. I'm that person. You have direct need right now. I want to help you. Probably long-range cause that I supported a lot was Habitat for Homes, Homes for Habitat. That was a big one. Now, with the trash business, I spent most of my time at 12th and P at the Capitol in Lincoln, Nebraska, right at the Starbucks where I was visible. And I would sit with a lot of people that needed our help. They were cleaning up someone's home that had been in the hospital. They had a passing of someone in the community that they needed help with. And I had the opportunity to help people. And when you're in the trash business, I would say if you don't know the business, it's pretty much like Monopoly. When you get those houses on the boardwalk and those hotels, it's pretty hard to go backwards. So in the trash business, whenever I put out dumpsters with our name on it, that created more work for us because that's a billboard. And people would definitely call us from seeing our containers on job sites or at Habitat for Homes. That would make a big difference. I had an opportunity to help people in need that were not 501c where I could write it off. That's the other thing. A lot of times, people want to be able to help a traditional nonprofit where they can get the write-off. A lot of times I ate the write-off to help people in needs in the community. I would say unequivocally, you can't tie me up in a long, drawn-out speech to help you with your MLM. That's nonprofit. You're not going to get me into that. But if you're clear and you come with your bullet points of what you need and how I can help you, and there's always got to be something, because otherwise you'd get a little suspicious. Look, we need your service, but on the back end, we're going to put a publication out and you'll be mentioned. The company, not me as a person, because me as a person, if I give, I want it to be anonymous. Not so much that I have no ego. It's just that I don't want a million people with their hands out because it's just not enough to go around. So that's that. And as you guys know, I helped a homeless dog one time and it became world news. Now, I didn't plan for that to happen, but I saw a homeless man on the street and the New York City police shot his dog in the head and they put out that the dog died. And I just made a simple comment on Facebook. Everybody went for the dog. I said, I'd like to help the homeless man. And then CNN picked up the story and it became a big deal. And the story is in Wikipedia, Star of the Dog. So I never knew that was going to happen. So I got involved in charity. I don't even like the word charity. I don't even like words from the 76 welfare. I mean, if someone's in need, this country, either you're making a bunch of money or you're at the other end of the spectrum. I have seen a lot of people that I've helped come out of that position and they're in the other position now and they're helping people. So that's all I have today. I'm doing okay. Hopefully I sound okay in a podcast. That damn blood clot definitely messed my head up a little bit, but I'm going forward.
Charlie, brother, you sound fantastic. I mean, the voice is on fire. The message is on fire. So, man, appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're feeling a little better. I see you on tractors and stuff in your yard and in the pictures. So keep it up, man. Hey, we're gonna cruise. I messed up my order here, so let's just go. Julie was here and she jumped out, but we're gonna go to Gary. We're gonna go to Gary first. In the Zoom up above, in the pin links. Me and my friend Harry Spate, he's the author of Selling with Dignity. Believes in adding value, giving, kindness, no gimmicks. We're doing a little thing at noon today. Harry's going to do a presentation for about 45 minutes. So sneak out into your car and listen to that for 45 minutes. Harry's a good guy. I promise you will come out of it stronger. Gary, man, what all things, everybody wins. What do you think about the subject? How do we make sure everybody wins? Or should we care that everybody wins? What do you got, Gary?
Hi, Dominic. Hi, Tom. I want to say hello to you, your moderators, and your team. Great topic, great questions. I do believe that when we pause a bit and we start to think very seriously of masterful ways to create win-win situations, I believe there is where we are able to make the strongest impact, not only on our lives, but on the lives of others. I, however, see that what happens very often, people have that desire to win, but they fail to recognize that there's two sides to the coin of winning. For example, what does it mean to have a desire to win? It means that you have expectations, you have a vision. Perhaps you have a master plan as to what is going to get you there. But guess what? One of the things that we have seen is that for you to win, you must have a value offer. For you to win, you must have your MVO, meaning your minimum viable offer or your most viable offer. And the main fact that you're having your value offer, it should be something of substance. It should be something of value. It should be something that is able to add value to people's life. But sometimes we don't think about this. We just think about, hey, I want to win. I want to be wealthy. I want to be successful. I want to be the movie star. You think about your desire. But what I've learned is that when you think about your desire in conjunction with your value offer and what your value offer can do for your ideal customer, there is where you're able to make transformational effect. But once you pause here and you start to think about how can I make the largest impact on my ideal client, and you start to take the steps to make this happen, there is where you win. But this is a journey, because to make impact with your ideal client as an entrepreneur, you need to understand who is your ideal client. You need to understand what are their needs and their wants and their expectations. And sometimes you set yourself up to win, you're not taking the time to understand people's pain points. You're just thinking about your win. But there needs to be a balance between your win and how you're going to make impact with people. As you take the steps to really understand people, you're taking the time to understand, what motivates people, what inspires people. And once you have all the facts together, I believe that this is the most spectacular way to create win-win situations. Pause a bit and recognize that winning in life is not only about me, myself, and I. But when you can take steps to create the scenario where we can nurture the environment where we can win collectively, there is where the magic takes place. So let's make magic happen. Gary, and I yield the mic. Back to you, my friends.
Thanks, Gary. I think the thing that really kind of stood out there to me was something I talk about a lot, right? And all the folks here who've been here week after week with Dom and I have heard me say this ad nauseum. But it's this phrase that's actually in the beginning of my book that's coming out in September. And that is this idea that we should embrace the concept of leading with value always, right? That you always lead with value first, 100% of the time. If you're always delivering value to other people, then they will return that value to you. It's very, very simple, but that's like the basis of kind of my whole philosophy around legendeering. And the work that I do is always working to lead with value. I think it's part of the reason why we're here in this room, why Dom and I do this every Wednesday, right? Is this idea of leading with value. We're trying to create value for other people, right? That's why we're here. And that's why we host this room every week. So thanks for being here, Gary, and thanks for sharing your thoughts. Next up, the one and only Miss Julie Loken, who just got back from VCon, and just casually dropped a picture on social media of her hanging out with Gary Vaynerchuk. So Julie, are you too big to speak in our room, or you got something cool to share with us today?
So you're setting her up. She actually just texted me and said that she has a son graduating from high school right now. So she said she'll jump up in a minute. But I talked to her yesterday. Yeah. So right when you threw her under the bus.
Well,
I saw the.
She knows, obviously, I love Julie, and she knows that is all in good fun. No, I was 100% had like a twinge of envy when I saw that picture. Cause I would have loved to have been, been with her, at VCon, and had that opportunity. So definitely a twinge of envy. And super impressed, right? That is a path. The fact that Julie was standing there talking to Gary Vee, who is a very in-demand person. So it's not like, I don't want to lionize him. It's just that his time is very much in demand, right? And so because of that, his ability to dole it out is limited. And the fact that she created a path, right? And that's exactly what she did. She set her sights on something. She said, I want to do this. And she created a path to make it possible, is incredibly impressive to me. So I was very much in jest, and I wanted to make sure I put that out. I said that out loud since she couldn't respond, because that's what I would have said when she responded to her. But I didn't want to leave that hanging with just a little barb thrown. I wanted to make sure she knew that I genuinely was impressed with her creating that path, and definitely had a little twinge of envy. So I can't wait to hear more about it from Julie when she's available to talk. Obviously, one of your kids graduating from high school, I guess, is more important than talking to me and Dom. If that's how you want to live your life, fine. But anyway, who we got next?
Okay, well, hold on. I want to say that I spoke to her yesterday about just same thing, man. And I want to say to the room, like the word envy, like me too, man. How awesome! Like I could want to be in the room, and say like I'd love to have a conversation with Gary Vee like that. That was so effing cool, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm unhappy for Julie. I'm thrilled for Julie that she did it, man. Like you said, work in the path. Everything that Julie has done to get to this point, the hustle, the grind, the studies, the hard times, for whatever. I'm just going to speak candidly here. We all get shit on. We all get told no. We all have bad days. Like Charlie saying, like Charlie had a stroke, man. But he's still here. He still shows up. He's still pushing on. He's still helping nonprofits. He's still making a difference. So we're going to have those times where the route's bumpy. But here she is at the climax. You know what I mean? Right, sitting next to Gary Vee, and she said he was spectacular, and she had about a half hour with him. And so I hope she gets on and tells that story. So that's what I think. It's all right. It is all right to like we were saying earlier, it's all right to want the nice things. It's all right to, want to buy your wife the whatever purse. It is not all right to take from other people or crap on other people, dump on other people, step on other people, and if you do get a chance to be up, like in Julie's case, she also brought a lot of her friends along that once she was able to get to that point, she brought other friends and said, hey, you need a press pass too? You need a press pass? They worked together, and multiple people had a big event. So on the win-win, look at it. There it is. Okay, now I want to read this bio. I'm going on. He led with Ethan. I'm coming to you, but he led with the line that I love. Social media scientist. So right there, I'm in. I want to know more. So social media influencer, app tester, and product tester, influencer of positivity. Yeah. Now you're talking. Okay, see, influencer positivity. Now I got to read more. Okay, I'm going below. I'm going to a world where few people go. Below the fold. You know what the fold is? That's when you have to scroll down. Born on Instagram, recognized creator, Ethan Klein, Los Angeles. He, him, open brand deals. Okay, I want to know more from that. teach us win-win or whatever you got, Ethan. How'd I do with my reading? Go on.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the room. I'm Ethan. I'm 20 from LA, and I create content, and I go to school for a living. Doing social media since 13, and I've consistently shown up. And this app Clubhouse was I was on here during the COVID pandemic, and from here it just started building, and I've been doing this for a little while.
Okay, Ethan. So talk about give us a win-win. Do you have other people on your shows? Whose content are you sharing? Or give us a tip since you're doing it and making money off of it, or it's that in school or your careers. Tell us more.
Well, it depends on the money thing. For me, it's more just showing up, being present, and brand deals is what drives my social medias. It depends. I mean, these platforms, obviously there was a program they stopped, but I'm still, for what I do, I still, brand deals come along, and that's how it goes for right now. The social media is constantly changing, and so I feel like that thing in my bio, I think, defines social media scientists. I think that defines, you can tell when, for me, when I can tell things are changing. I feel like that's why I should have that in my bio, because I notice change, and then I implement what is going to happen next, or whatever I think is happening, I implement it, and I'm good for whatever's, these platforms constantly change, and so it's just one of those things where, what do you call it? You just got to adapt to what's coming next with these platforms.
All right, last one for the scientist. I'm coming back. Are you concerned about? I think I read you have 31,000 followers on TikTok or something. If TikTok goes away, what does Ethan do? Is he an Instagrammer that same day? I mean, I'm sure you already are, or it doesn't matter.
So I don't put my eggs into one basket. So I'll scatter my videos everywhere. And TikTok is already suing Montana, so we'll see how that goes. But it's not going away for sure right now. But they're in the process of doing stuff behind the scenes, and they're working on whatever they need to work on to clear everything up.
All right, right on, brother. Appreciate you being here. I pushed follow on a couple of your pages, and for everybody who stops here for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, if you come by an hour here and there, there's so much talent in the room. There's so many cool people. There's so many creators. There's so many people into different things, whether it's, I see Ethan said foodie, or it could be media, or it could be, who knows? It could be biking and hiking like me, whatever. But check out these other people, follow them, connect, check out their other pages. And on win-win, it is all right once in a while to give a like or give a heart or give a share. You don't have to be so stingy. Not that you are, but I wonder if pushing this heart or like or thumb that could help somebody else's algorithm, that could maybe make them smile when they got one more hike thumb. What did I say? I said hike thumb, like thumb or heart. Come on, man. Share a little love. Go on, Ethan.
I want to throw something out there before you move on to the next person. I just want to say, if you resonate with someone's content, I feel like it's more about resonating with it than actually, obviously you like it and do those things, but I feel like, if you resonate with it, or something with you, likes it, I feel like that's much, more of a genuine way to, do something, because I feel like, I see people on this app ask for, oh, can you go like my page and stuff like that. I just feel like it's more genuine, if they see it and they actually resonate with it. And I feel like it's more, it's a different impact. That's all I wanted to contribute to the room.
So Ethan, if they resonate with it, what should, as a creator, what is the best thing they could do for you?
So the save button and to send it to others as well.
Good tips. Never thought about to send it to others. Okay. Appreciate you, man. Okay. We are going to, I think Aurora. Damn, I think I'm saying that wrong. So Araya, we're talking win-wins and things like that. And then we're coming to our friend, Dr. Tachi, or Prof T. I'm sorry. Hey, why do I confuse Prof T and Dr. Tachi? But they're two apart. But Araya, okay, let me get focused here. I'm going to read Araya. Emmy award-winning TV show host and producer, president of the Limelight Television Network. Wonder what's on Limelight. Tell me what's on Limelight, and then share your thoughts on win-win and all that. Go on, Araya.
Hey, Dominick. Hey, everyone. Sorry I was called away for a moment in one of those mornings, but I just found you guys in this wonderful house and room, whatever we're calling them now, on Clubhouse. And just glad and excited to be able to contribute to the conversation. So we're talking about win-win and I know John's here. I know John from Clubhouse. Talking about win-wins in the podcasting world.
Win-win anywhere. How do you make it a win-win? How do you lift? Rising tide lifts all boats. That's what we want to see. So I mean, it could be podcasts. Well, give us a tip in podcasting, but wherever in life, whatever.
Well, I love that. Well, I would say off the top is a win-win situation is, especially these days, is collaboration and partnering, and it really is a win-win when you can share audiences, you can share communities. I do a lot of collaboration now, probably so much more since the pandemic, when I've been on Clubhouse now, what are we going on, like 3 years now, and I have so leaned into the connect and collab, the no competition. It's connecting and collabing, sharing each other's audiences, speaking on each other's shows, and going live on Instagrams and other places, because especially if we do something similar, but we serve in different ways, but we're serving a very specific audience that needs both of us. So, and when you have your own podcast, as you know, Dominick, and anyone else here that has a podcast, flash your mic. I love podcasts. And I always make a podcast, a television show at the same time. I find that really levels you up as an entrepreneur when you have the confidence enough to show up in front of the microphone, on the stage, on the camera, on a TEDx stage, wherever, and think, why not you? You're an expert in your industry. Stop playing small. Stop being down in the listening lounge. Get up on the stage. And the minute you become a podcast host or a speaker or do something brave enough to do that, which you should if you're an expert in your industry, that levels you up to be able to partner and collab with like-minded, successful individuals. And if you're looking up to all these people that may have, all these followers, all this success, looking up to them as a fan, when you become your own host, you become their peer, and you can become a colleague and a partner in a collab, because successful people collaborate with other successful people, not their fans. They are hired by their fans, but we do business and connect and collab with our peers. So what's stopping you all from becoming a peer to those that you're looking up to? Why not you? Your time could be and should be today to step up into your greatness and become everything you want to be, and stop watching the world go by and thinking everybody else on the stages or in the limelight or with all these wonderful followers are better than you. Stand up. We're all the same as us. We're just the ones that are on the limelight, the ones that have the microphones in front of us, the ones that said, why not me? We've got a message to speak. We have an expertise, and we're serving the world. We're serving our community. We're not selling. People buy, but we're not selling. We're educating, we're serving, we're solving pains. So I just challenge everybody to come on, because that is a win-win when you step up into your greatness, because somebody is waiting for each and every one of you to show up in front of a microphone or a camera or an audio room somewhere, the next level up, and share your brilliance. The world needs you, needs your brilliance. So that would be a win-win. And I've found that all through my career, win-win, collab, connect, do things together. We're not meant to be solopreneurs. We're meant to be collaborators and CEOs of companies that have a team, that have people. And just don't be the smartest one in the room. Big mistake. Find other people smarter than you and connect and collab. So I hope that helps. I hope that was on point to what y'all were talking about. Again, I apologize for getting pulled away. I had surgery last week, and I was just talking to my doctor for a minute. My stitches came out yesterday. So I'm all good. I'm on the mends.
Araya, well, we are happy to have you, and you were spitting fire, so we appreciate all your tips. how could somebody, let's say you're looking to collaborate with Araya or somebody that's on this, somebody that's a superstar like yourself that you identify, let's say it's the Yankees or whoever you see out there. Man, I really want to collaborate with this organization or this person, but I'm not, I in my mind, I feel like I'm not there. What should they do?
Well, do your homework. It's always, I've collaborated with so many, big celebrities and different people in so many different realms. And you just don't jump in blindly. Hey, look at me. I'd love to do work with you. Really dive in and find out, why do you want to do business with this person? What does that look like? Follow them, be very educated fan at first, and then when you reach out to them, whether it's through DM, whether it's through a connection you have, you're able to make a very pointed conversation. Like, Dominick, I loved your show, especially on the episode where you had so-and-so on your guest, and you talked about mental illness when teenagers lose a parent to murder. That's actually my specialty. And I'd love to know more about some other episodes you've done on that. I'm one of your biggest fans now. And so you're just kind of layering it. Don't go for the gusto right in the beginning, but fan them, like them, download their shows, comment, get into the mix, and be specific when you do reach out to them. If you feel like you want to serve, always go with a servant attitude. I would love to support you. You're a great host. The Yankees. I love the Yankees. I'm a big fan. I just would love to support you. I have a large following on my community, and I'd love to feature you on my show. And I'm telling you, when you have a podcast, it is an open door. Everyone loves to be on podcast. So if you do a great podcast, and let's say you want to reach out to the Yankees, since we're talking about that, you would say, I'm a big fan. I've been a fan for this many years. My dad, whatever. You kind of give them a little bit of relevance and say, I'd love to feature so-and-so on my podcast because of this. So the more specific you can be, the more they know you're an educated fan. You're an educated person that loves what they do or what they're doing for a specific reason. It's not like, you probably all get this too. We get people that just DM us, hi, or love you, or you look great, or something like that. There's nothing to answer. But when somebody reaches out to me, whether they want to be on my stages or on my shows, and they say, I heard you on Clubhouse today in the Clubhouse Podcast Publishing Social, and I love when you said such and such. And I would love to know more about your show to see how I can support it better. Boom. I'm responding to that. They didn't ask me for anything. They were specific where they met me. I know they're part of a community that I serve. And now it's like, oh, I like that person. That person is going to get my reply. I'm like, thank you so much. I'm glad you like that. So, and what way would you like to support? Are you a host yourself, or do you know people who like to be on my show? I would start the conversation that way. So be an educated, strategic stalker, if that helps.
Okay, that was good input. That was exactly what I was hoping for, and great shares. And anybody that listens to the replay and things like that, that's kind of input that you check it out and you can almost like study it. I take notes a lot of times on what you guys are all saying. So, Araya, thank you very much. Go on.
I was going to say thank you so much. And it's best to DM people right now when you're on stages with people, because, hey, you can say, we're on stage together right now in this room. And because that's what we should be doing right now, checking out people's profiles while you're here online, because you know where they are. And it's a much faster response time. So just a quick tip that's worked for me here in Clubhouse all these years.
Thank you. Okay, we got about 12 minutes to go. We're going to meet 3 people, and then Tom's going to wrap up here for us. But I got this event today, but I forgot that every week I'm supposed to show something for anybody watching the live stream. This was bought to me by my children as a present, and it's a great gift. I keep it behind me at all times. It is a Jason Voorhees semi bobblehead. It says place in direct sunlight, and then it bobbles a little bit. I mean, look how it's got knife, it's got hockey mask, Friday the 13th. I mean, this is, see, it says Friday the 13th, pop culture coolness. So live streamers, this is what it makes me smile. Some days when all hell's breaking loose, I turn around at the wall behind me and there's Jason Voorhees with a little knife hanging there. Okay, Tom.
I like that it's called a body knocker.
I never noticed. Never needs batteries.
Body knockers. battery free, solar powered body knocker.
All right,
I
that's
like
right.
it though. I like it though. It's still it is much less odd than some of the other things, including the Michael Jordan doll that you shared a few weeks back. That was
That's up there. I see in the screen. I see Michael Jordan doll legs hanging behind
yeah,
me.
yeah. I
At
see him.
the top. There's some. Wait till you're going to meet A-Rod in a couple weeks, and I will show you that. But that's for another day. Okay, we are moving on from show and tell. Prof T, we were talking win-wins. What do you got for us?
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good now. Hey, Araya. How am I going to top Araya? Oh my God. She is like such a queen of Clubhouse. She was one of the first ladies I met. Love Araya. She's got an amazing story. Great
Love you
tips.
too.
Good to see. It's been a minute. Happy to be here. And of course, Julie. Oh my goodness. How can we not say enough good things about Julie? I love Julie Loken. We talk every day. I actually could have got on a plane to go, but I just couldn't pull it together that quick. So with that said, I think that for me, Araya just hit the nail on the head. It's collaboration. I mean, I've been working almost 20 years with people for coaching and mental health and emotional wellness and getting people to where they need to be. I didn't have a Prof T when I was starting out in business. It's dog eat dog world. A lot of people aren't looking to help other people succeed. They're looking to help themselves. And I found that now, since post pandemic, people are collaborating more. And if you are not reciprocating on your social media, that's not going to help you. I think a lot of people I'm meeting are transactional, which means, hey, what can you do for me? And I just don't, I can smell that a mile away, and it really gives me a bad stomach ache. So like Araya, I love her idea. Just, when somebody DMs me, hey, loved what you said, that's really great. I'll say, hey, what did I say that really struck out? And try to start a conversation. I'm a big fan of people person. I'm actually sitting in the King of Prussia Mall parking lot, King of Prussia Mall, one of the largest in the United States, getting ready to meet some potential business collaborations. So all I'm going to say is get back to the old. You can't beat the old way of doing things. Telephone calls, meeting in person, looking to collaborate. And it is always about how can I help you? Because when you take other people with you on your road to success, I promise you, they will, they should, they can will take you with them on their road to success. Help others, help them first. Thanks, everybody. Great to see you. Prof T, over and out.
Prof T, you brought it today, as always. Great message. We appreciate you. Killing it. And make sure you follow Prof T. All right, let's go on here. Two more where we meet Jason and Sean. Jason, my friend, I show up in Jason's rooms. Jason, what do you got going on, my friend? How you doing today?
Oh, I just got done recording on YouTube, Breakout, and some other platforms talking about fortune. And maybe it kind of relates to win-wins, I guess you would say, in what people believe fortune is. And my whole premise is that fortune is not a hope thing or a wishing well. It's actually a buildup of disciplines and focus. Marcus Aurelius talks about this. He's like, hey, a fortunate person is not someone on chance. It's someone who's really looking at the optics of the objective and what he really wants. So win-wins are kind of, I would say they're related in a big way. They're more like what collaborations took for that thing to exist, whether a podcast or whether a business adventure, a launch, you name it, you have it. You need a series of people. You need a community, because no one is self-made. No one can ever truly say they're self-made without attributing contributions of others. So everybody's community built, but you do have a self-interest, you do have creativity, and win-wins come from exactly that: contributions, willingness, and being focused of what you really want. So that's all I'll say about that.
Appreciate you, man. Good stuff as always. Always, I say philosophical, and I say I don't mean that. I mean it in like I like to hear what
That's my specialty. That's what I do.
Okay, yeah. Then I don't really want. No, it's usually deep, and I appreciate it, man. Different look at things. Okay, Sean, what do you got for us, Sean? We're talking win-wins. Syndicated broadcasters sold a certified Dolby Atmos engineer. I don't even know what that is. So, Sean, introduce yourself.
How you doing, Dominic and Tom? Thanks. Tom, I completely agree with you. No top knot here either. I have a standing thing with all my friends if they see me in leather pants or with the top knot to do something drastic. I am a mixing mastering engineer. Been doing it for over 2 decades. I'm a radio host. I'm on a commercial radio station. I'm here in Toronto, Canada, 3 nights a week, syndicated. We're on 79 stations. More importantly, I have a company, AR Media. We do post-production for podcasts. So we do that for people, editing, post-production. We deliver in stereo and Dolby Atmos. Do a regular room. And what is happening when we talk about collaboration, 2 things. Going on each other's podcast is a great thing, but don't assume the other person is going to share your on socials. Just because they came onto the show and you recorded it and you did everything, don't assume that they're going to share it on theirs. Share it, collaborate, great thing, but just don't assume they're going to do that even though they've been on the show. A lot of the time they'll come on the show and then it's out of their mind and you're going to assume that they're going to do that. And here's a great tip. And this is something when we're talking about collaboration that works tremendously. And I want everyone to implement this if they haven't heard of this or done it yet. If you do have someone on your show, let's say, for instance, I have my podcast and I have Johnny up there, Pika on the Micah, and we're on there. At the end of the podcast, I'm going to tell people, look, what you can do is go listen to Johnny's podcast and then listen to mine right after. Or listen to this podcast and then go listen to Johnny's right after. What that's going to do is the algorithms and all these bots are going to go, hey, wait a minute. The people that listen to Johnny's show also listen to Sean's show. And then it's going to push it out to all of Johnny's listeners. My show will pop up in their feed. And all of my listeners, Johnny's show will pop up in their feed. And I've had a number of my clients do this towards the end of the show. Johnny, thanks for coming on the show. It's great. Hey, folks, do me a favor. Go listen to my show and then go listen to Johnny's show right after. And even without cross-promoting on socials, you're having the algorithm of all the platforms do that work for you.
Sean, man, appreciate you. Good tips. And we're always like, that's the thing about, you never know in this room. You might get tip, selling tip. You might get tip on algorithm. You might get tip on something philosophical. So we appreciate you dropping by and sharing that with us. Like I said earlier, I take notes. And why wouldn't you try that? So many things that we talked about today are free. Like, it's not going to cost you any money to check out somebody else's social media. It's not going to cost you anything to listen to somebody else's show or engage with somebody else. So that's all win-win. Hey, Tom, it's that time of day, man, where I abruptly say we're done and my attention span falters and then you wrap us up. So what do you got, my friend?
Can we just go back and we just replay what I said at the beginning? Because I don't know that I can kind of say it better, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure that. I'm not sure I can beat it. But anyway, so we started out today talking about creating win-wins, and I just think that it's incredibly important. One of the things, I'm on a mission, right, to humanize the world of business through better communication, right? That's what I always say the mission of my business is. That's the mission I'm on, right? And the best way to do that, in my estimation, is to create and deliver value to other people, right? So that they will return that value to others to create cooperative success, right? That leads to building a rising tide that will to quote, lift all boats, right? And so that's what I work to do every day. It's the reason why Dom and I have this room that we've been doing for, it's like 2 years now, right? I don't even know. I genuinely don't know when we started, when I started, because you were doing it before I was part of it and I was invited in, right? So I don't even remember. I don't remember how long it's been just the two of us, but it's been like, I mean, it's got to be going on like 2 years. You know, I think over the course of that time, what we have done consistently week in and week out, and I think the reason why so many people show up to this room on a regular basis, right, and hang out with us for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours a week, is because we are committed to creating value for other people, holding space for conversations that are meaningful to the people that join us in this room, and providing solutions for people when we can. And if we can't, surrounding ourselves with people who are smarter than us to provide those solutions. So it's something that I try to do every day or every Wednesday morning when we're in this room, specifically, but broadly, it's something I try to do every day in my interactions with other people. I always try to deliver more value than I need, right? To create more value than I take. And so that's what I'll leave you guys with today is go out, leave the space, leave the room, leave this place here on Clubhouse today and go out into the world and try to create more value than you need. Try to give more value than you take. I think we'll all be just a little bit better off if we try to do that every day. So in your own small way, however you can, deliver some value to somebody with no strings attached today. That's what I'll leave everybody with this week. So thanks as always to everybody for being here. We love you guys. You guys are the reason why we do this every week. You're the reason why this room exists. You're the reason why all of you here are the reason why Dom and I are not the smartest guys in the room. And until we see you guys next Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, please have a great rest of your week. Have a great long holiday weekend. If you're here in the States, it's Memorial Day weekend. So think about the folks that gave all so that we could have what we have now. And enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the long weekend. And we will see you guys next week, Wednesday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Not the smartest guys in the room. Until then, take care, everybody. Love you guys. Bye-bye.